Hello and welcome to Prudent Media News. Now a look at the headlines. Goa board used written marks formula to calculate internal assessment marks, which led to a variation in the final mark sheet. A Prudent Media exclusive on how students lost 1 to 4 marks in the first mark sheet. RTE to be implemented in a phased manner, says Education Department. Will issue circular to schools to put infrastructure in place within 3 years. Headmasters Association flexes its muscles, writes to Education Department refusing to implement guidelines. Department says schools will have to give a clarification if they detain students in spite of their circular. Admission dates to professional colleges will not change. 27th May to be the last day to submit applications. And Iqbal 11 defeat Fatorda 11 to clinch the Iqbal 11 title. Mukhtiar Qadi's 52 boosts Iqbal's score to 171. And now the news in detail. Seems like the mystery over the HSSC results are clear. Goa board failed to use their own marks table, which they had issued to schools around 2 years back. Confusion took place as board used a formula which is used for written examination while entering the marks of internal assessment in the final mark sheet. Students got 1 to 4 marks less as the formula was used and not the table. A Prudent Media special report.
The circular was issued by Goa Board on 10 June 2009. For some reason, implementation of this circular was postponed by 1 year. This was the first year wherein this table was implemented for internal examination. Total marks of internal examination are 130. The 130 marks are valued 20 marks in the end. The categorization is as per this table. Other exam is written examination. Paper is of 100 marks, but it has importance of 80 marks for the final mark sheet as 20 marks come from internal examination. The total comes to 100 marks. There is a different formula used to calculate it. This is the formula. This time board used this formula even for internal assessment, where they should have used the table. That is the reason the difference appeared on the mark sheet. Here is an example. If a child gets 110 marks out of 130, then according to the table, a child should get 19 marks, but according to the formula, it will get 17 marks. You can see the difference of 1 to 3 marks even when you get 90, 40 or 35 marks. The marks you get after evaluating through table are more than the formula. Students who failed by 2-3 marks got through due to this revaluation. But the mathematical validity of this table is in doubt as the formula is perfect method to arrive at exact percentage derived from the total marks. Our reporter from Panji, Basudi Desai, with video journalist Ravindra Dravi.
Education Department has disclosed plans to implement RTE in Goa in a phased manner. With the approval of the government, department wants to issue a circular to all schools directing them to put infrastructure in place within the next 3 years. RTE will be fully implemented in Goa after taking all stakeholders into consideration.
Right to Education is a central government's act. Goa government is also implementing this act since April 2010. In the past few days, RTE has faced controversies over its implementation. But now the Education Department has cleared certain doubts over RTE. Education Director Dr. Celso Pinto says that they will take further approvals of the government on various provisions of the RTE. They will send circulars to the schools to put in place the required infrastructure.
We have to form an advisory council, and we also plan, with the approval of the government, to issue a circular that infrastructure should be in place in all the schools within 3 years.
Schools can take help of various government schemes to build the infrastructure. The department also plans to take help of finance department for the RTE implementation.
If it is a question of government schools, then the directorate will do. And if it is a question of aided schools, they are getting grants, salary and non-salary grants.
But also for buildings there was some...
Then we have a scheme for infrastructure loan cum grant. They can apply for grants under that scheme. But they must have the infrastructure. And that is, I said, only after getting the approval of the government, we are planning to issue this circular. So that is at least on one issue, the schools must be clear.
Our senior reporter from Panaji, Rakesh Kandolkar, with video journalist Devendra Gaonkar.
Education Department has said that the schools will have to give an explanation if they detain students till standard 8th in spite of their circular. On Monday, Headmasters Association wrote a letter to Education Director rejecting the guidelines.
The Headmasters Association has jointly rejected the circular and guidelines on no detention circular. The association says the guidelines are not clear and it is too late. They also say that they are not against RT, but they want its proper implementation. Now the Education Director has said that she will look into their problems.
They have only wanted these guidelines, so we did it. I don't understand why they take a stand like this. Those whoever were present, they agreed that with this discussion with them only, I have issued these guidelines. Whatever the headmasters say, they are going to the press, but they have not brought it to my notice. Whatever they say, I'll examine it and put it before the government. Okay. That's my statement.
Ma'am, they are saying that the guidelines are not proper.
I have no comments on that.
But she also plans to convince the association to implement the circular, as it will benefit the students.
Let them, we will do our best to convince them to do it.
Okay, and if they don't do, they should tell you why they are not.
They are doing. They should inform me why they are not doing it. And then only with the approval of the government, I can say what we can do next. We are here I want to make one thing clear, that it is the right of the child, which is expressed under Right to Education Act, and we cannot deny this right.
In the next couple of days, the issue is expected to be resolved as the Education Director will put forth the demands of the headmasters before the government. Our senior reporter from Panaji, Rakesh Kandolkar, with video journalist Devendra Gaonkar.
It's time now for a short break. Stay tuned.